Hey, hey, welcome to the Really Charlie podcast here on Fireside. My name is Charlie Perry, and today is another good day. Any day that I'm on Fireside, chopping it up with you is always a good thing. Today's subject is slow justice, but justice. And we are talking about a case that happened on Nantucket Island in Massachusetts. Very well-known island. A lot of stories, especially during the whaling days, and you know, uh, trips by the Kennedys back and forth from Hyannis to Nantucket to Martha's Vineyard. A lot of stories. In fact, my grandfather was born on Nantucket Island. So my family is established on the island, and a very, very nice place to be. Well, during the let me see, has to be 4 years now. That 2018, so that would be 5 years almost. 5 years, the African American Museum was plastered with graffiti, racist graffiti, with the word nigger leave and a little graphic of a male's penis was drawn on the building. And well, anyways, a lot of a lot of you know things were going on in the island during that time, and they were a lot of mumbling, and they people had knew who did it right from the start. They knew who did it, who wrote the graffiti on it, and it was a hush hush about amongst the island where no one was saying anything. Well, people were saying things, but the authorities wasn't doing enough in the investigation. Where police were told who the person was by a witness that can be identified and was willing to identify themselves and come forward with the information they knew and who wrote those nasty words on the building. So a couple of citizens stood up and wanted to be heard and wanted to make sure that the culprit came to justice. And I titled this podcast, Slow Justice, but Justice. Sometimes things just take a long time. And it's usually not the fault of the victim. It's usually the fault of the system and the people involved in the system, which could make things go real slow if they wanted to. And in this case, the Massachusetts State Police, the Nantucket Police Department, the district attorney, and I can even say the state attorney all knew what was going on, and were just kind of sitting on their hands and then pointing fingers at the residents, the town residents that were coming forward, which was just two people who happened to be black people coming up and just basically saying, this is wrong. You know who did it. This person needs to be brought to justice. And when they went to the town hall in front of the selectmen, they were stopped from speaking. Now, these are two people that own homes on the island, pay taxes on the island. They do work on the island. They do, they're residents. They should be able to go into a town hall and speak, just like anybody else. Well, the chief of police, William Pittman, decided to point at one of the residents and call him a liar and basically, slandered the man, you know. So here's a man of authority that's basically, you know, is kind of intimidating. You got a chief of police, finger island, and showing his angry tendencies. So, anyways, it led to these two residents hiring a lawyer, attorney John Hitt, and he represented them, and he filed suit, and he amended the suit back in July 9th, 2021, and in 2022, I believe June of 2022, a judge found the person responsible for the graffiti. Now, his name was Dylan Ponce. So there's also, right now the hearing, the civil suit is still going on, and people are getting deposed, and the one thing I like about depositions is that now you gotta speak your piece, and hopefully your piece is truthful, because that's stuff that they can hold against you. It's a court record, and you don't want to lie in court. So, hey, Lily, I just want to say hello to you, and thanks for joining me. This case, I had spoke about it before, and I'm just kind of giving a little update about it. And it's a real sad story, because this was a quick fix in my eyes. I was a police officer for 30 years, so I know how this could be worked out and how this could be fixed. Fixed to the point where, if you do the crime, you got to do the time. But there are some situations where people make stupid mistakes, dumb, careless mistakes. And the person involved in this made a mistake, and he was drunk. So, but as they say, when you're drunk, sometimes you're truthful. So maybe his true feelings came out when he decided to put the N-word across the African meeting house, which on the island they call it the Black Church. So this is very, very, this case is dear to me, because the people involved I've known, and they're fighting their fight all by themselves on that island, along with their attorney. So, anyways, there's a backstory to this, right? Chief of Police, Chief William Pittman, was also an officer in Springfield, Illinois. This book here, The Enemy in Blue. The Enemy in Blue was written by a former police officer, Renata L. Frazier, and she documents a lot about Chief Pittman on Nantucket Island. So before he was chief of police, he was an officer. So he had a lot to do with this case in Nantucket. He's the top investigator. So there's a lot of things that he could have done. He could have done, and he didn't. Well, in Springfield, Illinois, he had an incident. A racial incident involving this Officer Frazier, and she was getting evicted. They were trying to evict her from her house, but she, got a judge's order, and the judge said, no, there's no reason for an eviction, and vacated the order. Meanwhile, the police, including Mr. Pittman, Chief Pittman, decided to toss all their items on the ground, this public showcase, and just toss it everything, furniture, clothes, household items, household food, all just toss it out of the apartment and onto the street in front of the family. Thank God 2 of their kids wasn't home, but it was a sad, sad case. And this was a police officer. So could you imagine that? Other police officers doing this to one police officer? Well, the story behind it is because the police officer, Officer Frazier, Renata Frazier, had filed a case against the police department and some of the administrators. And rightfully so, and she prevailed. She won. She definitely did. And she wrote a book written by a nationally known person, Tavis Smiley. And let's see. Yeah, Tavis Smiley, he wrote this book with her, And so it goes on. It's a pretty thick book and very interesting. So Chief Pittman, before he applied for the job in Nantucket Island, he was there. Who did this investigation? Who did his background investigation before they decided to hire this man? Especially that they wrote a book. They wrote a book about him and the incidents that he was involved in. And they also, on the news, they had a series, a mini-series, Renata Frazier mini-series that was on the news. And it was played for the Springfield, Illinois residents. How come this didn't come up in the background when they hired him? I believe in 2004 in Nantucket Police Department. You mean to tell me that there was no qualified individuals that they decided that the best choice was Chief Pittman? Oh, no, I really, really never met this man. But, hey, from what I see and what I read, I don't think I want to meet him. And if I do, I don't think I'll tell him anything, but I definitely will, I wouldn't waste any energy on him because he's not a good man, according to these stories. And if they wasn't true, a smart police officer would go after these people and get them for slander. But the truth hurts sometimes. And I think, all in all, this case is going to finally come to its end. And Dylan Ponce is being, will either be charged or responsible for it. Criminally, I'd like to see that, and being charged with this because, he did something and he tried to hide it. People that he knew within the police department try to hide it. Selectmen try to ignore it. And all in all, it's just a sad case for a very beautiful island, Nantucket Island. Very, very wonderful island. I enjoy myself when I go there. People, the town residents are great, And like I said, I have my own family history there. So anyways, Lily, feel free if you want to come to the stage and talk, you can. And I want to thank everybody on replay that's definitely listening to this. And my supporters on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. And thank you for joining me. This is a case that I'm going to continue to follow. But it's been a slow process. 5 years almost. That's sad. Imagine being victimized and then finally it takes 5 years for people to come to justice, to see the man or woman in a black robe. It's amazing that it takes that long. Now, in this particular case, say I was a Nantucket police officer and I was there and I was given this case. with all the information. Now I have an opportunity to, well, at least document it, make a report. Now, apparently there was an interview done by the Massachusetts State Police. But nobody charged this young man. Nobody charged him. You could at least request a hearing, even if it's someone that you know, request a hearing. Try to get some leniency and say, hey, he was drunk. He needs some community service. Maybe if he, paints the building over or dedicates some hours to whatever, something on the island. There's one or two churches on the island. There's plenty of things down that he can contribute and pay back his debt. If criminal charges wasn't something that you were looking to put over his head. There's many ways of working it out, but you don't let anybody go free with something like this. Educate them. There is some ignorance. He's calling it the Black Church, and it's a African American museum. There's a lot of ignorance. Excuse me, and people need to learn, and he needed to learn. Now, there is some diversity in Nantucket, believe it or not, and but what happens is in Nantucket's a small community, so you don't want to make waves because everyone knows who everyone is. But they could have probably straightened this out a whole lot better. And thanks to Mr. James Barrows and Rosemarie Samuels, standing their ground, and now we're hearing the end result of this come real soon. So, but they hired, a police chief that already had his hand in some muddy waters, some muddy racial waters. You can kind of, if I think that just was a bad move, But Nantucket has a tendency of doing that because they had several qualified police chiefs on the island, and they hired someone from the outside. And they probably did it in the same case when it came to the police chief. They just went on the outside, which is kind of cronyism or nepotism. That's what they do, and all over the country, taking care of who they know. And I think that he knows somebody, and that's why he got the job so easily. And it's been quite a while. I mean, it's 15 years maybe or more. All right. Well, Lily, God bless you. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone on Fireside listening to me on the replay. This is very nice. I love Fireside. I really do. And I'm going to bring some other guests to you coming soon. And feel free if you want to be a guest on this podcast with me. Come on board. We could talk about anything that you want to talk about. If you own a business, we can highlight that. If you're an author, we can highlight that. If you're a singer, anything. Or if you're just a person that wants to talk about something, please let me know and come on Fireside and join me. All right. Well, thank you. And I am going to go and sign off. I have some other Fireside creators to support in this upcoming hour at 8 o'clock. I want to see my favorite show, I'm Right, along with a few others. I missed the conversation. I seen a little bit of the weigh-in. That's one thing. I'm trying to support everybody here because you guys are real, real good. And Lily, if you need anything from me, please invite me to any show that you have, anything. I would gladly support you. I really appreciate you. Thank you. All right, everyone. God bless you. Thank you. And it's February 1st, Black History Month. All right. Take care. And as you see, I got my Tuskegee Airman coat on. Great movie out there. Go ahead. There's several movies out there, but please check out that story. Some great American history. All right. Take care, y'all. Have a great night.